welcome to our BECE past questions series. This is the first of our production, and we shall be looking at various past questions from 1990 till date. To ensure you don't miss out on other productions or other past questions that shall be releasing very soon, make sure you hit on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that you can always be updated, or you can always be messaged or notified whenever new videos of this sort come your way. If you're on the YouTube app, tap on the subscribe button so that this set of videos can be registered in your YouTube account. Thank you. Number 1. If P is equal to the set of elements 7, 9, and 18, then Q is equal to the set of elements 1, 7, and 18. Find P intersection Q. Option A, the set of elements 1, 7, and 13. Option B, the set of elements 1, 9, and 13. Option C, the set of elements 7 and 13. Option D, the set of elements 7, 9, and 13. Option E, the unit set with only one element, 13. Now, you observe that in the set P, we have the number 7 there. And in set Q, we also have the number 7 as well. So they form one element of the intersection of both sets. Again, if you examine set P again, there's a number 13. And if you examine Q again, there's also the number 13 as well. So that forms the second element of the intersection of both sets. So what is our answer now? This is very obvious. The answer will be option C, as shown on your screen. Number 2. In the diagram, Q is a set of numbers inside a circle and T is a set of members inside a triangle. Find Q union T. Option A, the set of elements, just one element, 5. B, the set of elements 6 and 7. C, the set of elements 3, 4, and 5. D, the sets of elements 5, 6, and 7. E, the set of elements 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, if you consider the circular portion, that is set Q, you realize we have the elements 3, 4, and 5. If you consider the triangular section, that is set T, you see the elements 5, 6, and 7. Now, in both sets, if you are merging them without repeating any of the elements, you'd realize our elements are going to simply be, that is, our Q union T will simply be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, so which option is the correct answer? And this is obvious. Option E. And of course, if you consider the diagram, you realize that it is a set of elements we are considering under union of what both sets. And that is, if you look at all the boundaries surrounding both sets, the elements engulfed by the boundaries in both sets is what we are actually looking at. Okay. So that's our option is option E, as shown on your screen. Number 3. Given that quantity 23 times 82 times 72 is equal to 148,994, find the exact value of 2.3 times 82 as a quantity times 7.9. Option A, 14.8994. Option B, 148.994. Option C, 1489.94. Option D, 14,899.4. Option E, 148,994.0. So now if you look at our simplification, we'll look at what was given to us, then we'll simplify it or try to work with it until we come up with the right answer. Okay, so we'll have that one in mind. So for now, let us look at the simplification involving the quantity 2.3 times 82 times 7.9. Now, 2.3 times 82 in bracket times 7.9 can be simply written as 23 over 10, that is for the 2.3, times 82 over 1. Of course, you know that any whole number can be written with a denominator of 1, times 79 over 10, which is also the vulgar fractional representation of 7.9. So what do? We simply apply the rules in multiplying fractions. Now what do we get? We multiply the numerators separately, then we'll multiply the denominators as well separately. So what do we get? So when you multiply the numerators, that is 23 times 82 times 79, you come up with an answer 148,994. This was already given in the question, over 100. Now, if you simply divide this, or if you simply simplify this, you come up with the answer 1,489.94. So what becomes our answer? Very obvious, option C. I hope you understood the procedure. Number 4, convert 25 base 10 to a base 2 numeral. Option A, 1000 base 2. Option B, 100111 base 2. Option C, 10101 base 2. Option D, 11001. Option E, 11100. Now to do this, we simply draw this table. If you are familiar with this procedure, we'll simply have to repeatedly divide 25 by the base number, which is just 2. Now, the remainders is what will enable us derive what 25 base 10 simply means in base 2. So, on the top rules, I'll write 2, then 25. So now, if you divide 25 by 2, what do you come up with? You get the answer 12, remainder 1. So the next move is that we'll divide 12 by 2 again. And what do we get? Now 12 divided by 2 will simply give us 6, remainder 0. Again, we'll divide 6 again by the number 2. 6 divided by 2 will simply give us the number 3, remainder 0. We'll divide 3 by 2 again. So you come with the answer 1, remainder 1. Again, we divide the number 1 using 2. What do we get? 0, remainder 1. Now, our answer is glaring at us, but how do we write it? The remainders is what our new answer is. indicated by the arrow as shown on your screen. Now, if you look at the direction of the arrow, our answer is simply 11001. So thus 25 base 10 is simply equal to 11001 base 2. So which option is the answer? It's obviously option D as shown on your screen. Number 5. If quantity 3.14 times 18 multiplied by 17.5 is equal to 3.14 times quantity 3a times 17.5, find the value of A. Option A, 3.0. Option B, 5.8. Option C, 6.0. Option D, 9.0. Option E, 18.0. Now, to simplify this, or to come up with the answer, what we do is that first of all, we write out what was given to us in the question as shown on the screen. Now, if you remember your associative property, you realize that we can rewrite the expression above as shown on the screen. For instance, 3.14 times 18 times 17.5 can be written as 3.14 times quantity 18 times 7 times 17.5. Now, so if you are comparing, you realize that 3a is simply equal to 18 as shown on the screen. Okay, remember we are applying the associative property. So you realize that comparing it becomes very easy when you write it in that manner. So remember, in every mathematical question, always solve from the known to the unknown. All right. So for instance, in the right part of the equation, or sorry, to your left part of the equation, you are given quantity 3.14 times 18 times 17.5. Just simply work with that. Okay. And when you regroup, you realize that we can rewrite that expression as 3.14 times quantity 18 times 17.5, where the comparison now becomes very easy to identify. So what is our next step? We divide both sides of the expression by 3, and that will simply give us the answer A is equal to 6. So which option is our answer now? It's obviously option C as shown on the screen. Number 6. If 26,039 oranges are shared equally among 30 women, how many oranges does each woman receive? Option A, 23. Option B, 203. Option C, 230. Option D, 2003. Option E, 2300. Now realize that this problem is a simple division problem. So how do you deal with it? Just divide 26,039 by 13, and that will simply give us the answer 203. If you want to know other simple ways of dividing or simple ways of dividing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you hit on the notification bell so that you can always be notified anytime I post videos like this. Alright, I wouldn't want to go through the procedure in dividing simply because this is a separate series. So if you want to know the basic mathematical ways of doing things, please subscribe and follow the link and of course the channel more closely. So it's obvious that our answer is simply option B as shown on the screen. Number 7. Mr. Mensah withdrew some money from the bank. He gave half of it to his sons and 1/3 to his daughter. If he had 500 cedis left, how much did he take from the bank? A, 600 cedis. B, 750 cedis. C, 1,500 cedis. D, 2,000 cedis. E, 3,000 cedis. Now, so our first move is to add the fraction spent, that is on the daughter and of course his sons as well. So our fraction spent is simply gotten by adding 1/3 to half. And to do this, we first of all have to find the least common denominator of 3 and 2, which is obviously 6. Now next, we divide 6 by 3 and that gives us 2. And multiplying 2 by the numerator here, we simply come up with the answer 2. Next, we divide 6 again by this denominator, which is 2. And of course, what we get is 3. And multiplying that number 3 by the numerator 1, we get, of course, 3. Now, adding both will give us 5/6. Next, we find the fraction left. The fraction left, remember, is simply gotten by subtracting 5/6 from 1, as shown on the screen. And now to do this, we simply change 1 to 6/6, so that we can just simply subtract the numerators. So that's, it implies that we have 6/6 minus 5/6. And that simply gives us the answer 1/6. Once 1/6 is the fraction left, what it simply means is that 1/6 of the amount withdrawn from the bank is simply 500 Ghana cedis. So let's let the amount taken from the bank be equal to y. And that will imply that 1/6 of y is equal to 500. And of course, 1/6 of y simply means 1/6 times y equal to 500. Now, when we multiply out, it's just a matter of writing it as y/6 equal to 500 cedis. Now, simply cross multiplying, we come up with the expression y is simply equal to 6 times 500. And that gives us 3,000 cedis. Which option represents that? It's very obvious. The option E is our answer. Number 8. Simplify half. Bracket open, one whole number, 1/2 plus 3/4 divided by 1/4, bracket close. A, one whole number, 1/2. B, two whole number, 1/4. C, two whole number, 3/4. D, four whole number, 1/2. And E, 6. Now to deal with this, the first step will be to actually ensure that we change the mixed fraction in the expression to an improper fraction. So that's the one whole number, 1/2, can simply be changed to mixed fraction, and that will be 3/2. How do we do so? You multiply the whole part by the denominator, that is 1 times 2. You get 2, then you add the numerator to it, that is 3, all over the denominator, which is 2. So after doing that, the next thing is to use the order of operations, what we popularly call BODMAS, bracket first. If there's an off expression, you look at that one next. Division followed, multiplication, addition, and then of course subtraction. So what do? We are going to deal with this first set of expressions. We will do the bracket, but in the bracket we'll prioritize division because division comes first before addition. So to do so, the first thing is to maintain the first number in the division problem, that's 3/4, change the sign to multiplication sign, and of course take the reciprocal of the second number, which is 1/4. So as you know, the reciprocal of 1/4 is simply 4/1. Now in multiplying, you'd realize that When fractions are involved, you multiply the numerators and of course the denominators of the respective fractions. But this is also permissible. You'd realize that the numerator here, this is the number 4, can divide the denominator here, which is also 4. And when they divide out, what we basically have is 1. So I think literally we are just left with the expression 3 over 1. Okay, now the next thing will now be to consider the addition. And in doing so, we first of all find the least common denominator of the two denominators, or the two denominators we have here. That is 2 and 1. And what will be the least common denominator? That is obviously the number 2. So we rewrite the expression in there with a common denominator of 2. But how do we get the numerators? It's simple. We divide the least common denominator by each denominator of the above expressions. Then, of course, we multiply our result by the numerator of each expression. So that's here, 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. Multiplied by 3 will give us 3. This is how we get the first 3 here. And again, 2 divided by 1 gives us 2. And multiplying by the number 3 gives us, of course, 6. Okay. So the expression simplifies to 3 plus 6 over all over 2. And what do we get? Half over 2 multiplied by 9 over 2. Now this is just a simple multiplication problem, and that would eventually simply mean that we multiply half by 9 over 2. And when we do so, per the rules in multiplication, we just multiply the numerator and of course the denominators. So what do you get? 9 over 4. But our options were given as mixed fractions, except the e, which is a whole number. So it is prudent we change this number here, or this our answer here, to a mixed fractional representation. So what do? We divide 9 by 4. And that will give us 2 as the answer. But the remainder 1, we write it over 4. So that gives us 2 whole number, 1 over 4. Now what becomes our answer? The answer is obviously 2 whole number, 1 over 4. And that is the option B. All right, let's move to the next question, which is very, 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 very interesting as well. Number 9. If 21 to 2x is equal to 7 to 10, find x. Option A, 3. Option B, 2 whole number, 1 over 4. Option C, 15. Option D, 35. Option E, 502 whole number, 1 over 4. Now to do this, we simply write our ratios as fractions and equate them. It's just another way of representing what was given in the question. And now when we do that, when we cross multiply, we should come up with the expression 2x times 7 is equal to 21 times 10. Why? You multiply 2x by 7 and of course 21 by 10. You can only do this when there is an equal sign separating two fractions. This is also equivalent to multiplying both sides of the equation by the least common denominator of the denominators you have there. So next, what you do is that we divide both sides by 7. This is to ensure that we eliminate the 7 in this particular side of the expression. And if you are dividing one side by 7, you must also do same to the other side, because this is an equation. Okay, now you realize that 7 divides 7 and we have 1, leaving 2x. And again, 7 divides 21, giving us 3. Now we simply multiply that by 10 here. Now, once again, in order to find x, we divide both sides by 2. Why didn't I multiply 3 by 10 before dividing by 2? Please, my dear students, if you are to do that, you are only going to be increasing the number or making it big, and that can mean that you have to go through a longer process of dividing. But once they are still this way, the division becomes easier because we simply divide the 10 here by 2, and that can still give us the answer in a much simpler way. And now when you divide 2x by 2, you simply get x, and that will be equal to 3 times 5. And how did we get a 5 here? Because 10 divided by 2 simply gives us 5. And that simplifies to the answer x is equal to 15. And which option is that? The answer is obvious, or this option is very obvious, and that is option C. Number 10. X is a point on the line segment AB such that AB, or the magnitude of AB, is equal to 10 centimeters and the magnitude of AX is equal to 4 centimeters. Find the ratio, the magnitude of AX to the magnitude of XB. Option A, 5 to 3. Option B, 3 to 2. Option C, 5 to 4. Option D, 1 to 1. And then option E, 2 to 3. Now, if you consider the question above, or the diagram given to you, you realize that AB is simply equal to AX plus XB. That is their magnitude. So the magnitude of AB is equal to the magnitude of AX plus the magnitude of XB. Now, do you realize that we're given the question that AB was equal to what? 10 centimeters. So simply put here 10. And of course, AX was given to us to be 4 centimeters. So we simply also substituted there in the expression as shown on your screen. Now, the next thing is just to simplify for the magnitude of XB. And in doing so, we subtract 4 from both sides, also the same as sending the 4 across the equal sign. Now, when we do so, the answer we get is 6. And that will imply that XB is equal to 6 centimeters. The next thing is that we now find our ratio, because we have to find XB to X. The next thing we do is that we find the magnitude of AX to the magnitude of XB, and that will simply equal 4 centimeters to 6. And simplifying, the magnitude of AX to the magnitude of XB is simply equal to 2 to 3. And which option is that? And it's obvious, the option is option E. That is, option E is our correct answer. Make sure you surf through our channel for the rest of the questions. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can always be notified anytime I post videos of this sort. Thank you for your time, and may the good Lord be with you all.